In the music business, everyone likes to talk about the music and the artistry, but it's actually the business that keeps the organizations and the musicians going. We want to talk to people who are actually working in the music industry and find out how they're going and keeping things going in this day when we don't have the nobility or the church funding music. Today, we have the great pleasure of having Sara Martíin, who is the founder and artistic director of the Coralua Trondheim International Choral Festival. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, starting off, I think we should tell people just a little bit about your background. What country are you from?
I'm from Spain. I'm from Barcelona.
But yet you have started a choral festival in Trondheim, which is in Norway. How did that come about?
So that came because I was actually involved in a choral festival before starting mine in Trondheim. And it happens that I'm also working in the acoustics research. And I got the possibility to work for the university in Trondheim. And then I just, we just had the idea to arrange the same type of choir festival that we arranged in Barcelona in the city of Trondheim.
So you grew up in Barcelona and you moved to Norway. Before you moved to Norway, did you speak Norwegian?
No. That's a very different language from Spanish. Yes. But I spent some months there as an exchange student.
Okay, and so you learned the language, and then you were living and working in Trondheim, and you wanted to start the choral festival. How did you go about it?
So actually, this choral festival that was arranged in Barcelona the year before I moved to Trondheim, it was a choir from the city that attended the festival in Barcelona. And I just mentioned to them, hey, I'm going to move to Trondheim in a year. And they said, that's fantastic. Why are you not arranging a choir festival there? And actually, it just happened. We had their support, and we were just so passionate about the idea, and we just started up.
Great. And when you say we, who is we?
We is my husband and I. He's actually my main support in this idea. I'm the choir singer, but he's really a very organized guy and an IT guy, which is very important nowadays for spreading the word of the festival.
Yes. So as you say that you're a singer and all, and that your husband is an IT guy, first of all, could you say his name because I mispronounce it?
Sure. His name is Pablo Gomez Margareto.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. So when you say that you are a singer, well, I know this because, as we should let everyone know, we actually knew each other through singing before we knew each other through this show. So we sang together with a symphony, and we even went to New York and performed in New York. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Yes, that was a very exciting time. And I've met your husband, of course, and actually helped record another chorus. And he was there being the IT guy while you were on stage singing.
Right.
And I was helping to record and such. So, yeah, music is a small world, and one of the things that I've really learned about it is that you never burn any bridges. You never offend anybody in any way, because you'll run into them again, and it's a lot of fun to run into them. People have all these skills that then you can draw upon later to have fun. So I think that's wonderful. It's a very nice
community.
So you started off as a mathematics major. So you have a bachelor's and a master's in mathematics, right? And then your PhD is in acoustics.
That's correct.
So, and what is the name of the university?
Where I did my PhD,
Yes.
It's the Polytechnical University of Catalonia, which is in Barcelona.
Okay, great. So you moved then to Norway. You started learning the language. You started putting together a festival. How did you, well, you needed to start a company, but first you needed to choose a name. And how did you choose the name Coralua? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, that's true. So actually Coralua, it's made of two different nouns. and in 2 different languages.
Well, of course, because you speak 5 languages. Why not do it in at least 2? Sure.
Well, the reason is because I'm coming from Barcelona, which is in Catalonia, which is a region in Spain, and my husband comes from Galicia, which is in the northwest of Spain, and it's another region. And they speak Galician there, and we speak Catalan in the Barcelona region. And so Coralua is actually, the first is choral, which means choir in Catalan, and lua means moon in Galician. And actually that comes because the first idea we had with the choir festival is to arrange a midnight concert in Norway.
That would work really well in Norway, that, you know, with the summer sun.
Yes.
It's being so far north.
That's
so
right.
have you been able to do the midnight concert yet?
So actually, we arranged the festival in August, the first years, and we didn't manage to do it because actually it was actually midnight, so it was not sun. But we moved the festival to July last year, and it happens to be even better timing for all of us, and for choirs and also for the organization. And we are thinking to take the project of the midnight sun concert.
That sounds great. I would like to come to that. I still haven't come to your choral festival, and I know
always
you've
invited
me many times, and I have to do that. So in Norway, when you have this choral festival, when you started it, first you picked the name Coralua, and then you started a company?
We started a company.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a mandatory thing for starting arranging the festival very legally. We like to do everything legally, especially when you are an immigrant, you know, in a country where you are not born, and you know, you may mess up with things. We really didn't want to do that, so we make sure everything was legally and everything is well done.
Good.
As far as we know.
So you started the company, Coralua. You already knew a choir there because you had met them in Barcelona previously, right? And so tell me, what is the organization of the choir festival? So if someone wanted to start one, you started a company, so you registered with the government of the country that you're in. You became partners, so to speak, with a choir. You picked a name, and then what?
And then, first of all, I would say you have to design the festival. So really think about who is going to come, what do you want to give them as an experience, and also all the possible details that you want to, you know, surprise the person that it's coming to you. And I think with this arrangement or this program that you may have in mind, it's very good when you share it. And you know, you even can share it outside the organization and see what other choral singers may think about.
I know that at one point we tried to talk to some American choral directors to find out if they wanted different things than some people in different countries wanted.
That's correct.
So far, what countries have participated?
So we actually had choirs from US, from the Bay Area actually, and choirs from Hong Kong, from China, from France, from Spain, Italy. So we had quite a few, and we are very happy that all those singers came to Norway and discovered the country, because they are also Norwegian choirs, which is very important.
Good.
To mix cultures.
Good. And part of your choral festival, as I understand it, it's not just one concert, right? What is it that your choir festival involves?
So we have, the choir festival is actually 2 different parts. We have a first part where we arrange some choral workshops for the singers, and then a second part where we call it singing tour, and is where we arrange different concerts where the choirs attending can, you know, perform their own repertoires and show what they are usually singing to their audiences. So, and for the first part, is actually choral workshops are actually for children, for youth, and for adult singers. So it's really a big festival where anyone can attend.
So in these workshops, now I've been to different choral festivals and workshops in many places. Yours, you were telling me about the content and how it's put together. How do you choose what's going to be in the workshop?
That's a very good point, because for us it's really one of the most important points of the festival, how to choose the right conductor for the right festival. And we actually try always to look for two different things. First of all, the music quality. I think it's very important for us, and as well for the choral singers that are coming to our festival, and also the personality. So it has to be
of the conductor.
Of the conductor,
yes.
Yeah, of the guest conductor who is leading the choral workshop. So both, let's say, characteristics have to be in place, let's say, for choosing this conductor.
Yes, I can say, having been on the receiving end, that the choral conductor's personality for a workshop is essential. If it's just a concert and everyone already knows the music, and the conductor comes in, the personality can be more brusque or not. But for a workshop, when you're actually trying to learn from someone, it's nice to be able to enjoy yourself, to have confidence that the conductor is not going to humiliate you in front of this room full of people, so you can try new things, perhaps the new things that the conductor is trying to get you to attempt.
That's correct. And also that's why we limited the number of participants of those workshops. So there are not more than 100 participants per workshop, so that you can be so natural and just, ask some questions to him or to her, and then she or he can answer you without any problem.
Yeah, good.
So.
Yeah, and I know quite often in workshops, they're trying to teach specific singing skills, but sometimes people attend these things maybe who haven't performed much before, and for them to be trying to do this in a room full of people can be intimidating. So it's nice to have a very welcoming group like that. So that leads me to the next question. If someone wanted to attend a choral festival like this, how do you get people to come, but at the same time maintain high standards? Because you're actually going to be performing with these people at the end.
That's correct. So actually what we do is we have a registration form on our website, and we ask for a recording of each choir that are applying for participation. And so actually we evaluate the levels of the choirs attending. And if needed, we just arrange 2 different workshops for them to be confident and really have their most of it, right? And but also it's a challenge to get the word spread out about the festival, and that's actually one of the main challenges we have, to really arrive, and that the information arrives to all the countries, because since it's international, it's all the countries are a target as an audience.
And that's always difficult. It's not like it's one music stream. Like it's not like there's one music channel that we could all look to and find this information. It's on social media and other things. So I know you're on social media, because I've seen Coralua on there. So that's one way. What other ways are you trying to get the word out?
We are trying to contact many choral associations in each country. And we try to have, they normally have a list of international festivals that the local choirs can attend.
Okay.
So we try to be on all the choral organizations that we are meeting through the internet, of course.
Good.
And also we try to do some promotion on their journals or magazines that they may have for their singers. So that's the way. And as you mentioned, the media and the digital media today, it's really an important point for us, because it's where you spread the word, it's where everybody spends at least half an hour of his day, I would say.
Yes. And I think because you already had connections in the music world, you've already been in choirs. You've been in choirs in the Bay Area. You've been in choirs in Spain, and you had this connection with the choir in Norway, in Trondheim. And And as I have said many times, music is a small world in many respects. So word of mouth goes around. So if it's a good organization, people spread the word and talk about how much fun they had. So how do you make sure they have fun? So they want to spread the word.
Yeah.
What do you put together? Tell us all about it. Tell us, what can a person expect when they come to this festival?
So when you come to the festival, you first of all may expect a very personal treatment to you. So we are very, very careful about anyone who can come with a choir or can also come individually, because you can also attend the choral workshops as an individual singer, not only with your choir.
Good.
So that's
maybe my whole choir doesn't want to come.
Right.
Maybe I just want to come this time.
Right, because you are interested about the conductor or the country, or maybe you just want to meet different choral singers from other countries than yours.
And does that make it an organizational nightmare for you? So, for instance, if you're teaching someone how to put on a choral festival, you've already set it up this way that a choir can come or an individual can come. But if a person in the audience is going to be setting up their own choral festival, would you recommend to them that they allow individuals to come like this, or is that a logistical nightmare?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's very logistical nightmare. It's true that you have, a point where you have to, treat a little bit more the individual singers. But at the end, everybody is just a part of the big group. And that's, I think, the power of this festival, that at the end you are not, from this choir or from this other, or you are not from this country or from this other country, but you are, as part of the group, and it's the choir of that particular edition of Coralua. So that, I think, it's a magical ambience, I think, that it's created when you come to the festival. Yeah.
And that happens a lot when you get singers together.
Right.
Because singers tend to be an emotional group, and they tend, especially choral singers, there's less competition. So I think that sometimes when you have soloists together, they may have a different feeling, but for the choir or choral groups, we're used to having to blend with each other, having to give way and compromise in some ways for the greater good, to make it sound great.
That's right.
So it quite often can make for a fun time together when everyone gets together.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned.
Sometimes maybe too fun.
Yes, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you have to say, let's get back to the work.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you mentioned the competition, because actually Coralua, it's not a competition. It's actually a place where you meet, you just have fun, you learn a lot from the choral workshops, and also from listening to other singers and choirs. And that's very important for us, to not be competing between each other, but to just grow up as a whole.
So putting together a choir festival, as some of our viewers may want to do one day, if I'm putting together a choir festival, the challenges that you've run into, you've already said that you very carefully choose the guest conductors, because they need to match both in musical skill as well as personality to get along with the group. And you've mentioned that your husband does a lot of the technical stuff, and you've got the social media going. But what other skills are needed to put together a choral festival like this?
I would say to be very close to people, because it's not only social media that is working, but as you mentioned before, it's very spreading the word and mouth to mouth to be spread out the information. So I would say, first of all, to have the skill of talk to people and explain a little bit what is going on and what the festival would be if they are attending, and put them a little bit of a kind of a surprise inside, and
so that each time when someone comes, they get more than they expected. Right. Yeah, that's great. So what about the cost of all this stuff? I mean, not the exact costs, I don't mean that, but what, as an organizer, what costs to the organization are there?
So I would say the main costs are, first of all, we have the guest conductors. We pay their cachet, and we pay their accommodation and flights and all the stay with us during the week of the festival. And then we also pay, of course, the original copies of all the scores that they are singing during the choral workshops.
Yes.
Those are the big costs, and also the rentals of the venues where we arrange the concerts.
Okay.
Those are the really big costs of the festival.
What kind of venues do you like to use typically for this?
We use we use churches in the city of Trondheim, and depends on the place where we arrange the singing tour. It might be a church, which was one of the years that we arranged the singing tour in a very nice place in Norway.
Yeah.
But in the last edition of the festival, we arranged it in a theater, actually.
Okay.
So that was also a very nice place, because it allowed us to have everybody on the audience and have a big audience to listen to the concert.
Good.
So
that's always fun as a singer.
Yeah.
You put in all that work. It's nice to have someone out there listening. Yeah,
that's true.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. So,
that's actually one of the main challenges, to have all the audience at the concerts as well. So spread the word and be enough attracted for audiences that may not be related to choral music at all.
Yeah, that's an even bigger challenge in the United States,
isn't it?
So yeah, but that's another show and another time about getting choral music. So I love choral music, and I find that the more people get involved in it, the more they love it. That quite often someone who's never sung in a choir before doesn't realize how much fun it can actually be, and then once you get them in,
that's true.
Yeah. So in the workshop, you've talked about the cost of the venue and all that, but how do you keep costs down? You're taking choirs all around your country, your new country of Norway. You're feeding them and all this. How do you keep the costs down?
So actually, since the second edition, and after a first edition where we show who we were, what we wanted to do, and that the festival went out very good. We started making some partnerships with companies in Trondheim and also in Norway, and also public institutions are helping a lot for the festival to happen. So we try to partner, and we try always to convince these companies that may benefit or may not benefit, but they like to support these cultural events.
Good.
To be happening.
So maybe discounts on transportation and discounts on food and such.
Right.
Good. So that way you can still provide a very high quality product to the participants.
Yes.
Without going bankrupt.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yes.
Because that's a very important point that you mentioned, that although the costs tend to be down, we don't want to tend down the quality of the product you are giving.
Right.
So it's always a compromise. That's true. But we believe it's a good balance what we have got so far.
Well, I think one advantage that you have is I have not yet been to Norway, but the pictures that I see, and I have friends who are Norwegian and all. It's a beautiful country, and I think a lot of people would enjoy going to it. I may have a more difficult time putting on a choral festival in a place that is maybe not as attractive. So I might have to depend more on really great guest conductors doing workshops.
Yeah, that's true. And we actually arrange also cultural visits. So it's not only about music, but it's also about the story of the city, the story of Norway.
Good.
And some museums visits. We go to the Music Museum, which is the national museum, is in Trondheim in the city, and they have amazing instruments. It's really good museum. But we also go to the History Museum and a tour in the cathedral as well, which is beautiful cathedral.
That's great. So what else would you advise to people if they're starting their own choral festival?
I would advise, first of all, to have the clear idea, as I mentioned before, but also to be surrounded about important people that really, truly believe on the project itself. and
Yeah.
it can also be part of it as you. So they
Yes.
can put the same passion and, you know, come up with an idea that you even didn't think about it, or,
Yes.
you know, and you can discuss like freely, and that's a very important topic, I would say, to really build up a group where you can easily talk and you know, come up with ideas, or,
Yes.
you know, just discuss different approaches, because, you know, life, everybody has his approach or her approach, and it's very nice to discuss. You learn a lot on the path.
Yes, I bet you do.
Yeah.
It's nice that your husband is involved in this with you, because certainly you can discuss things at various times, but I know you have a lot of other people involved as well. So
Yeah, we are so glad that we got many people working during the week and helping out, and we need a piano, where should we go?
Yeah.
So it's very nice.
well, I have been very happy that you've been living in the United States the last couple of years working on your postdoc, because that meant that I got to spend time with you. But I know it made it extra difficult for you to be working on this choral festival from another country. So that was a challenge.
That was a challenge, but as I mentioned, the team that is behind, and all the people or the organizations that we are working with, whether hotels or museums, or, you know, where we rent the venues, all of them already knew us from previous
Good,
editions,
from previous years. Yeah.
and we are happy with them, and I guess they are happy with us, because they make us the path very easy.
Good.
So it was not that challenging. And we got the same challenges as if we were in Norway.
Yeah, I know that this is a passionate thing for you, right? So I know that this is not something that you're hoping to get rich on. This is something for you to just cover your expenses and all. But still, it's nice to hear how to do it so that you don't go bankrupt, and all the challenges. So if someone wanted to find out more about your
Festival,
festival,
Coralua.
thank you, how would they find out about it?
They can follow us on Facebook. We are on
Okay.
Facebook, Coralua Trondheim International Choir Festival.
Okay.
Or they can find our website, which is www.coralua.com.
Okay.
And we have also different social media that they can also follow.
Okay. I want to thank you very much for coming in today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.